I'm going to discuss about the subject Network and Cyber Security, presenting by Manjunath Iyer, Assistant Professor, ECE Department, Canara Engineering College from Mangalore.
So in my today video lecture, I'm going to present about PGP operations or services. So in my previous video lecture, I have done the discussion about there are two services that can be provided by PGP. So one is PGP authentication and another one is PGP confidentiality, and the remaining services they are provided by PGP. Okay, they are the compression. Okay, so the compression algorithm or the, okay, we can go for compression. So another and the last okay, services that is provided by PGP is the email compatibility. Okay, so compression we so in general we know that why we'll go for compression. So when we need to reduce the size of the data, okay, without changing the content of the data, so we'll go for compression. And I'll discuss in detail about what is okay, email compatibility and how we are going to achieve, okay, the compatibility for PGP. So as every technology is having many advantages and disadvantages, so PGP is also having some set of disadvantages. So I'll go through the PGP disadvantages. Okay, so then how we can overcome, okay, these disadvantages. So this is what my today presentation. So next service of PGP operation is compression. Okay, it enables the compression service. By default, PGP compresses a message after signing but before encrypting. Okay, the signing concept we know that after okay, we are encoded hash code to encrypted hash code by using private key of a sender. Okay, here private key it acts as a signature. Okay, signature, and after we are generating okay okay signed data, and we are considering that okay the message for encryption. So before encryption, so we need to compress the data. Okay, so the reason is simple. If the data size is more, the time taken for the encryption is also more. So we need to reduce the time consumption. Okay, we need to reduce the time consumption for the encryption. So we go for what? Compression. So we are just reducing the size of the data without changing the content of data. So can store uncompressed message and signature for later verification. So uncompressed message, okay, before the message we consider for okay encryptions, we are considering for like compression, no, and the signature also, okay, we need to store for later verification. And because compression is not deterministic, okay, so compression is not deterministic. So uses zip compression algorithm. So compression is nothing but okay, so zip. Like okay, for encryptions there are several algorithms are available, like okay DES, triple DES, RSA, DSS, and many algorithms are available. So we'll choose our convenient algorithm for encryption. Okay, so for compression also similar to the encryptions. Okay, many algorithms are available. So we'll choose okay our convenient algorithm for a compression. Okay, so before we sending a data, and the same algorithms need to be used at the okay, receiver side by the time, okay, so when we need to go for decompression. Okay, so which algorithms we are used at the okay sender for compression, at the receiver side also receiver need to use the same okay compression algorithms during decompression of data or unzipping the data. The last operations of PGP enables the email compatibility. When we are using a PGP for email communication, it is going to send binary data. Okay, so that is what encrypted message. So initially, the message is in the form of plain text. After encryption on plain text, it is going to give a result as a cipher text. Cipher text, it's a non-readable format where plain text is a readable format. But still the cipher text is a binary data. Okay, so that we need to consider to send over a network through email. So suppose we are using a PGP. But however, email was designed only for ASCII text. But the small the changes here for the email communication is we need to send ASCII text, not binary data. So ASCII standards, we know that American Standard Code for International Information. So we need to send the data in the form of ASCII text, printable character or ASCII characters. So hence PGP must encode the raw binary data into printable ASCII character. So the additional services we need to add for PGP is after encrypted data, the result is in the form of binary data. So we need to take one more step, where that step is involved in converting binary data to ASCII printable character. So it uses, in order to convert binary data to printable ASCII characters, there are several techniques or several the ideas are available. The one of the popular idea that PGP can use is uses radix 64 algorithms. So why we are saying radix 64 here? We'll see later in the next coming slide. So briefly, I am going to explain the technique for radix 64 algorithms, how it is going to work. That we are using to convert that to technique. For conversion of binary data to ASCII text. So initially, it is going to map 3 bytes. 3 bytes means each byte is nothing but 8 bits. So 3 bytes is nothing but 8 into 3, 24 bits to 4 printable characters. Same. In a group of 3 bytes is nothing but 24 bytes. 24 bits. 24 bits. First initially we place these 24 bits in 3 groups. But the same 24 bits we are going to place in the group of what? 4 printable character. We are going to represent in a 4 printable character. So that we'll see how it is possible. So also appends a CRC. A cyclic redundancy check is an error detecting code commonly used in digital network and the storage device to detect the accidental changes to raw data. So it's additional services. We are going to add CRC. CRC is nothing but cyclic redundancy check. If any error has happened, so in order to check that error, we are placing CRC. So, but the thing is, we need to understand what is a radix 64 algorithm. If we understood what is the radix 64 algorithms, we'll come to know that about the other technologies, or other algorithms, how we can use to convert binary data to ASCII printable character or ASCII printable text. So in the next slide, I am going to explain about how the radix 64 algorithms is going to work. So here I'll be discussing about radix 64 encoding. Okay, so after discussing, this is one of the encoding or algorithms that we are using to convert binary or data to ASCII printable character. Okay, because for our email we are using ASCII characters or a printable character to send. Okay, not the binary data we are using to send. Here this is very important to understand. This is Radix 64 encoding table. So now let me explain the table here. Okay, here the 6-bit value and the characters that we are encoding, and the same thing is going to repeat here, 6-bit and character, 6-bit and character encoding. Okay. So mainly there are two columns, 6-bit value and the characters that we are using for encoding. Suppose let's say I am using a capital letter for capital letter A for encoding. So we are going to encode by using 6-bit. Okay, the decimal value is 0, and how we are going to represent 0 and 6-bit, we know that it is 000 and 000. So suppose I am using a capital letter B for encoding. So how we are going to represent in 6-bit value of decimal 1, 000 001. The same for it's going to continue for the capital letter from A to Z. Okay, from 0 to 25. So 26 characters are there, but since we are starting from 0, so here we are going to end with 25. Next for small letter A to Z. Here Z is here, and 26 to 51. Now encoding for a number, numerical value from 0 to 9. Next for operational symbols, plus division and equal. So equal or it's a pad, I think like for padding. So the data that we are using to encode, while we are sending data, it should be have only these character A2, these 64 character, capital letter A to Z and small letter A to Z, and numerical value from 0 to 9, and these symbols. If any data other than this format, we are not able to achieve Radix 64 encoding. The data that we are sending, so the data should be have only these characters. Other than these characters, so Radix 64 is not, we cannot apply the Radix 64 encoding. And since we are using 64 characters for encoding, the name is given as Radix 64 encoding algorithm. So that has become clear now. So we are clear with the title of Radix 64 encoding. So now let's say, for example, the 6-bit value is 3. So how we represent 3 in the 6-bit? 000 So that is nothing but we are sending capital letter D. Suppose we are sending a 6-bit character, 6-bit value 00111. So that means we are going to send P, but after encoding. So now let's see in detail. So suppose the email message is the new message, that is ASCII format. So this is what the ASCII format, 011011. So how many bits are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this is 8-bit ASCII format. Not this is what the like ASCII format. And this is also ASCII format of having 8-bit. This is 8-bit. So total 24 bits, because 1 byte. So 8 into 3, 24 bits. After encryptions, let's say we'll have the format something like this bit pattern or a bit string. This is again 8-bit. It's nothing but 1 byte. 3 byte. That is 24 bits. But how the Radix 64 is going to work? This is a general this is what these two are general explanation. Encrypted data is in this form, but after ASCII format, so it is going to change into this format. Okay, so we are not sending this data. We are going to send this data, but for ASCII, I mean, in order to convert the ASCII, we are using 8 bit, yeah, 8 bit. But I am going to talk about the Radix 64 conversions. Let's see first. Encrypted data, that is a binary. Okay, bits, 3 bytes. 3 bytes means 8 into 3, 24 bits. So this is here 8 bits, here again 8 bits again. Okay, here 8 bits. Okay, 3 bytes of data. We are converting this 3 byte of data, encrypted data, to what? 4 printable characters. Okay, 4 printable characters. So what are those printable characters? Small k, capital Z, small m and small I. Now, in the previous slide I told you 4 printable characters. Okay. Now, I am going to make a group of this 3 byte, 3 byte into 4 groups. Each group is having 6 bits. See here. 100100 6 bits, 011001, okay, again 6 bits, again here 6 bits, same, okay, again here 6 bits. The same 3 byte of encrypted data. We are going to make a group of 4 bits. Sorry, we are going to make a group of 4 group. Each group is having 6 bits. Okay, 6 into 4. Okay, that is again 24 bit. Now we are going to map this 6 bit to a integer value. So that is 36. 100100 is nothing but integer value or a decimal value 36. Let's see in the column where is 36 here. Okay, we are using this 36 to encoding the small capital letter of alphabetical letter of K. Yes, there is a K. Next 011001, it's a decimal value or integer value is 25. So where is 25? 25 is here. This 25 we are using to encoding for capital letter of Z. Is capital letter of Z. The same for 38 and 8. So now it is clear we are not sending a encrypted data. There is a binary data. Okay, we are sending what? Printable character KZMI. Okay, this is what? ASCII printable character. In order to represent these ASCII printable characters, so we are going to represent each character by 6 bit. Okay, by 6 bit value. So this is a small introduction to what the Radix 64 encoding. So like how we are using this Radix 64 encoding or algorithm to convert 24 bit or 3 byte of encrypted data to ASCII printable character. So now almost we have reached the end of the PGP operation. So if you are using a PGP for email communication, so what is the summary of the PGP is? First we will have X file, so it's a plain text that we need to send. First we are going to add a signature. If signature is required, the signature is required for authentication, not for confidentiality. So for confidentiality it is no, so for authentication it is yes. So we are going to generate a signature. So that is nothing but we are using a private key of sender as a signature to convert hash code to encrypted hash code. We are using a private key of sender as a signature. So now yes, so signature is over. So we have this time we have generated what? Signed data. This output is signed data. So this is not signed data if no. So no is in the case of confidentiality. Okay, not in the authentication. Yes, okay, next we'll go for compression. We'll use some specific algorithm for compression. So we'll reduce the size of the data. Okay, we'll reduce the size of the data. Next we'll go for confidentiality. Yes, the confidentiality is required for confidentiality service of PGP. Okay, so we are going to achieve the confidentiality. So we are going to encrypt the compressed data here. Okay, compressed data by using a secret key. So here we are going to perform a symmetric algorithm. Okay, sorry, symmetric encryption algorithm. Okay, so a common secret key that we are using for encryption and de-encryption. So that is what the meaning here. So encryptions we are doing for the file, the message file. So that is a plain text format. So that we are going to change as a ciphertext by using secret key and also secret key. Yes. So that the secret keys need to be shared with the sender, but we are not going to share that secret key to the sender as it is. I mean, we are going to change this format of secret key, like we are changing a plain text to ciphertext, no? So here the secret key is also like the original format, we need to turn into the other format. Okay. So this is possible by encryptions. For encryptions we are using a public key of user B. So user B is nothing but is a receiver. So that is what the meaning here, encryption of secret key. Okay, so here, so this is an encryption of message, that is a file, by using a secret key. Here the encryption of secret key by using a public key of user B, receiver. This is an encryption of a message, that is a X file, by using a secret key. Okay, confidentiality. So this will be done if confidentiality is required. So here the output is encrypted file, X file. So no is in the case of authentication. Okay, in the authentication, confidentiality is not required. In the confidentiality, authentication is not required. So that is what the meaning here. So now, before we are sending this ciphertext, so next we'll we need to go for email compatibility. So email compatibility we can achieve by using one of the technique or algorithm, that is convert to Radix 64. Okay, PGP, it uses a Radix 64. So what are the services or operation of PGP? PGP is authentication, confidentiality, compression, email compatibility. Okay. So here if we are using authentication, there is no confidentiality. If there is no confidentiality, there is no authentication. But if we have both confidentiality and authentication, so it gives more security on the data, so that we wish to send over a network by using email. So it is better, always we prefer both signature and authentication and confidentiality. So here also S case and here also S case, if both confidentiality and authentication is required. Okay. Now this is what is going to happen at the sender side, and the receiver side exactly. Okay, it is a reverse process. So it is going to receive Radix 64 result, we know that. So it is obviously ASCII printable character. So receiver is going to receive ASCII printable character. Okay, so that is Radix 64 encoding output. So you need to go for reverse order. So first you will convert ASCII printable character to binary data. So convert from Radix 64 to encrypted X. So encrypted X file. So next it's a reverse process of confidentiality. So if we go on for yes for confidentiality, yes, here we need to decrypt the message. Okay, first we need to decrypt the secret key, then we'll use that secret key for encryption of this message file. Okay, so we are going to encrypt this X file by using a secret key. So first we need to decrypt this secret key. Okay, so we need to decrypt the secret key, that is KS. Then we need to decrypt the X. Okay, by using a private key of receiver. Okay, private key of receiver. First we need to retrieve the KS, then we are going to retrieve the X. So by decryption. Okay, by decryption. Next, so here it is done compression. So it is a reverse process, decompressed. So here okay, X to ZX, okay, ZX to X to ZX, yes, ZX to X. Suppose if we have gone for okay authentication, so authentication reverse process. Okay, so we need to we are generated a hash code here, I mean encrypted hash code. So by using some encryption algorithm like SHA algorithm or MD5 algorithm. So here again we need we need to generate a hash code. Okay, and in other side also again we need to generate the hash code by using a same algorithm. Okay, that has been used at the sender side. So we are having hash code in both the side, and we'll compare both the hash code. So that we are done discussion under okay authentication. So I think that is in the lecture 1 of module 2. So if okay, you are not aware about the authentication, please you watch the authentication video, I mean the video which is having authentication part, so then you will understand. Okay, so what is authentication under PGP. So this is all about the summary of the PGP operation. Suppose if we are using a PGP for email communication. So this is end of the PGP. Okay, let me talk about disadvantages of PGP. So then we'll look into any other technologies that overcomes the PGP disadvantages. The first disadvantages with the PGP is more complexity. So it is more complexity. In what way it is more complexity? So it uses both symmetric and asymmetric encryption. So for authentications, so we are using in order to generate encrypted hash code, we are going to perform asymmetric encryption. And in the symmetric, in the confidentiality also, like we are using public key of user B or a receiver to change the format of secret key. Okay, I mean we are going to perform the encryption on secret key, that is a session key KS. Okay, at the sender side. So receiver side is going to use his private key for decrypt the secret key. So both the sides we are using asymmetric, and the symmetric is nothing but secret key. Under confidentiality we are using common secret key for encryption and de-encryption. So it uses both like the symmetric and asymmetric encryption. So the major disadvantages is administration is difficult. In order to administrate PGP, so that feels it's very difficult. In what way it is difficult? Different version of PGP complicate the administration. So let's say some versions that has been used at the sender side, the same version need to be used at the receiver side. Okay, so that is what it makes so difficult to administrate. Now compatibility issue. So both the sender and the receiver should have a compatible version of PGP. So it is almost similar to the second disadvantages. So in the second disadvantages, I mentioned that sender need to be use the same version, and receiver also need to be same version. So if both the versions are different, so we are not able to achieve the PGP operations. But the compatibility, yes, we can go for a compatibility. So let's say for example, I'll give you a very good example over here. So I have a system, okay, I have my own okay laptop. So in my laptop I have installed operating system which is having okay 64-bit architecture. So it is going to support for the okay installation of software, any software which is having 64 okay bit architecture. And even though it is going to support for okay 30-bit software architecture. But okay, let me take in another scenario, like if my operating system, okay, sorry, if my system, in case if it is installed with 32-bit operating system, so it is going to okay support for software, so which is having only 32-bit architecture. Suppose if I try to install the 64-bit architecture, so it is not going to support for okay installation. Okay, so 64-bit operating system, it is going to support for 32-bit software and 64-bit software installation, but 32-bit, so it is not going to support for okay 64-bit software installation. So it is only going to support for 32-bit software installation. So this is what, okay, so it is like very similar to the second point. So suppose both sender and receiver is having like compatibility versions, yes, so can be it can be support for PGP. So if no compatibility, so it is not going to support for PGP operation. So since there are many disadvantages with the PGP operations, but these are the 3 points, so I can make out the major PGP disadvantages. So in order to overcome that, there are many so other techniques we can prefer. So that one of the technique is SRMIME, secure okay mine technology. So that we'll discuss in the next okay video lecture. So I'm hoping that you have understood well about the PGP. Okay, so far we have discussed about the PGP operations. So like what is PGP operations? There are mainly 4 PGP operations. So one is authentication, second one is confidentiality, and third one is compression, and the fourth one is email compatibility. And also we came to know about what are the disadvantages of the PGP. Okay, so thank you for watching.